The Brew House was created to capture and share with you the long history of the Genesee Brewery. But the brewery itself isn't half as interesting as the beer and the people who make it. Visit GeneseeBrewHouse.com. Hi everyone, welcome into the Rochester Press Box presented by the Genesee Brew House. We're on location at the Brew House for this program with our Christmas tree back here, and also the traditional keg tree is outside waiting for its picture to be taken by one and all. Christmas tradition. Kevin Oklobzija back joining us. Thank you very much, Kevin.
Great to be
Mike
here.
Catalana.
Good to be
Matt
back.
Duffy, co-hosting here.
Was I supposed to bring an ornament?
Did you?
No.
You weren't supposed to, not necessarily. Look, let's talk Buffalo Bills. Our buddy Sal Mirana came out, front page article, sports section, saying it's time to move off Tyrod Taylor, and provided a lot of back.
Don't stop there.
Well,
Keep going.
Well, let's just start there, though. Yeah, I mean, is it time already to move off Tyrod Taylor?
I would say yes. I don't like the way he throws the ball. So if you're a quarterback, I do like his mobility. His mobility is great, but there's more to that than just running, and it's been proven elsewhere where that quarterback hasn't worked.
Guys?
I think it is, but I agree with the premise of what Sal is saying, but I disagree with his facts in his article. He talks about that, he referred to, and I'm not picking on Sal here, but I'm saying in terms of that he's maddeningly inconsistent. I think Tyrod's very consistent. I think it's exactly who he is. I think he is a good NFL player and an average NFL quarterback, does what he does well, does what he's asked to do, doesn't turn the ball over, but he is not the kind of guy, as we saw in that Oakland game, when you need him and throwing the ball. I mean, no 300-yard games maybe is a little bit of an anomaly, but it's not like he's putting up 280s and 290s. He's more of a 200-yard-a-game guy. And the reason I say move on is because you have to make a decision on him. It is a money decision, and it is a time decision. Because once you commit to paying him, he's your quarterback for 2 to 3 more years. And I'm disappointed. I thought we were going to see the next level with him, and I know he hasn't had Watkins, but that would be the reason. If his contract still worked for next year, I would say keep him, draft another player, and look to replace him. But I'm not giving him the money to be what I think is an average player.
I don't think Tyrod is a great starting quarterback either. That being said, you can't blow this up, and I'll give you 3 names why. LaShawn McCoy, Sammy Watkins, and Kyle Williams.
Tony Romo.
If Kyle Williams, I'll get to that in a second. If Kyle Williams does come back, he's got a year left, and he's playing the best football of his career. LaShawn McCoy has a year, maybe 2 left to be the running back that we've seen, even if that, and Sammy Watkins after next year is in a contract year. If you blow this up and let's say start Cardale Jones and draft a kid coming out of the draft, and then go find a guy like Tony Romo, you got, again, 3 scrambled eggs. You got Matt Castle, you got E.J. Manuel, you got Tyrod Taylor. You got Kevin Cobb, you got E.J. Manuel, and whoever the spare was that was with them there. You don't want to waste the talent you have around this team.
So get a ready-made quarterback who can take advantage of it.
Oh, we should have done that for the last 16 years.
Well, no kidding.
Well, no, they have tried to do that when they went for Drew Bledsoe, and Bledsoe gave them about a half of a great season and then started to fade. The issue with a guy like Romo is injury issues, because that's been what's kept him off the field. But you say that. This franchise has gone around 500 with E.J. Manuel, with Kyle Orton, with Tyrod Taylor. What I'm saying is,
in their present position, don't they have to stay with this plan a little while longer?
No, that's such a Bills thing to do.
Plan B? I mean, to quote Sal again, Plan B. What is it?
What I'm saying to you is, when you look at what they have, do you expect, with Tyrod in there, there's a reason your running game this year was outstanding. Now, I will say this: if the defense was better, it would be working better. Doesn't mean Tyrod would be great, but the plan would be working better. You would be more than a 500 team. But the defense let him down. Look, we can kill him for last week, but at a point, it was 24-9 Bills. And I know the offense failed, but the defense fell apart in that game. If the defense would be better, it would be the start of what someone like Seattle had: running game and defense, and a quarterback that manages it. The difference was, in Seattle, they thought Russell Wilson was going to become something, and he has become something. I don't think they feel that way about Tyrod.
Just quickly, because we started it with you here. You're Doug Whaley. Quickly, what do you do? What do you do?
Well, I don't like the fact receivers show frustration when Tyrod continually misses them, as Sammy did, as McCoy did. That's not a good look. And obviously, they are frustrated because it wasn't the first time he missed them. And that's where it all I mean, it's visible from them. And when those signs are showing, then it's internal.
This is the Rochester Press Box. We are at the Genesee Brew House. We'll look at the Bills-Steelers game next. The Press Box, brought to you in part by Connors and Ferris, your workers' comp attorneys. Call 262-COMP, C-O-M-P, today. The Buffalo Bills quote of the week was brought to you by the Rochester Geico office. Give the Rochester Geico team a chance to see how much you could save on all your insurance needs. Call or stop by the office on West Henrietta Road, open Monday through Saturday. The Geico Rochester quote of the week, this Ben Roethlisberger is pretty good.
Yeah, he is, and I guess I understand the theory behind it because we've seen defensive players like hanging on to Roethlisberger, and he's still getting rid of the ball. Tackle him, strip him of the ball, get in front of him, do something, because when he is going, he could decimate a defense, and we've seen it happen with lesser quarterbacks than Roethlisberger. So yeah, get the ball from him. That would be a good idea.
This portion of the Rochester Press Box, presented by the Genesee Brew House, where we are, is brought to you by Connors and Ferris. Let's talk Bills-Steelers.
I hate this so much.
Bills are 1-point underdog in this game.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to take the Bills because that's what I do, but here's what I'm afraid is going to happen. All right, because I've been a Bills fan my whole life, and we've seen this happen 1,000 times. They're going to go win a close game against the Steelers. They're going to go win a close game against the Browns. They're going to go win a close game against the Dolphins.
What you're going to say.
The Broncos are going to lose too because they got to play the Raiders and the Patriots. And the Bills, with everything happening the way it should, are going to lose on the final day of the season in New York like the Jets did to us last season. I think it is the most Billsian thing to happen for them to win this game on Sunday. And because that's what God does to us, the Bills win straight up. Cover and win straight up.
We've only got 3 games in a row at home. I mean, this is
what their season has been, though. When you think they're dead, they somehow pull off a couple games and win that others, that the majority of the people didn't expect. I thought the line last week was suspiciously low. Like, I just didn't understand it at all. I thought the Raiders were far superior. It turned out they were, but I just didn't understand 3 points. It made no sense to me. This line is, I don't know why the Steelers aren't favored by more.
so you got to take Pittsburgh.
Absolutely,
Right?
because I think they can outgun the Bills.
Mike?
The Steelers have been inconsistent this year, too. There are times their defense is atrocious in games. Now, you said what could happen to the Bills. It's so Billsian. The other way would be to beat Pittsburgh and lose to Cleveland.
Okay, yeah, well, let's not even say
that's
that.
That's the earlier part of that, but I don't think that's going to happen. I like them this week. I like the Bills to win the game. There's 2 things that can happen, though. One is that game out west took the life out of them, and that does happen sometimes late in the year where they don't come home with that emotion when they could. But I kind of think they will. And I kind of think the fact that there's going to be a lot of terrible towels in the stands is going to somewhat motivate Bills players a little bit. It's going to annoy them.
And their performance last week should motivate them. I mean, that's something I think they do have going for them. They were horrible.
Yeah, but wait a minute.
Half.
Up until that midway point of the third quarter, I thought that was the best they had played all season.
Agreed.
The offense was controlling the ball. The defense had held them to 3 field goals. I mean, you're sitting there looking, going, wow, this is the Bills team we want to see on the road. And then like an avalanche, it fell apart. As opposed to the Seattle game, which I thought was a little more back and forth, but they showed a lot of guts and they played hard. At that point, they played well. They can do that. I have a feeling they're going to come home and play well.
The players use blinders when it comes to like playoff chances. I mean, do they look at it the same way we do, as saying, boy, it's a long shot at best?
I don't think they're thinking playoff. I really don't. I think they're thinking about beating the Steelers, and then they'll say to themselves, all right, where are we? It's still a month away. Do they know that losing that game pretty much eliminates them? Yeah, they know that, but I don't think with 4 games to go, I don't think they can think that way. I think they know it would be a huge win for them to beat the Steelers. You know, it's just like the Steelers. They could beat the Steelers and still be a long shot to the playoffs, and Pittsburgh, with a loss, is still right in it because of the division they're in. So, no, I think they have a little bit of blinders, but they know the circumstances. They're in their 500.
All right, quickly, I'm with these guys. I go in for Buffalo. I want Miami coming back home, giving a point to Arizona. Pick another game.
Jags need a big win. They get it against Minnesota. 3 points. They cover, win straight up.
They need a win. What do they need a win for?
Big win. Like, they've played everybody tough. They've been a tough out. They're finally going to get that win.
We all
this
need
week.
a win. Pick a winner.
So do I. San Fran. Bryce Petty for the Jets. So what? They're a horrible team.
Colin Kaepernick for the 49ers. I'm going to be a homer. I'm going to take the Eagles. They were pitiful last week. Questions about effort coming home against the Redskins. It's like a pick-em game. I think it's an ugly game, but I think they find a way to win that game.
Here's a look at the standings for our NFL Picks Contest, brought to you by Connors and Ferris. I maintain a sizable lead.
Rigged.
4 games, if you're counting. The winner of this contest will have a donation made in their name to Hunter's Hope. This week, Greg Connors selected for the Connors and Ferris team. They split their picks last week and are 12-14 on the year after a 1-7 start. This portion of the Rochester Press Box brought to you by Connors and Ferris. Like it or not, next. The Press Box Trivia Question brought to you by Sleep City. Queen adjustable bed with memory foam mattress, now $977. Save over $500. Shop Rochester's only locally owned mattress store. No pressure, no hassle sales experience. Here's a look at the Press Box Trivia answer brought to you by Sleep City. Queen adjustable bed with memory foam mattress. Now $977. You save over $500. Shop Rochester's only locally owned mattress store. No pressure, no hassle sales experience. See New York in a whole new way. Amtrak is offering a 15% discount for all travel inside New York State and to Montreal. Visit Amtrak.com for the See New York discount. Safe, comfortable, affordable, and easy. Amtrak. Enjoy the journey. Welcome back here to the Genesee Brew House. This is the Rochester Press Box. This portion brought to you by Amtrak Trains. Enjoy the journey. Like it or not, Kevin, the Red Sox trade for Chris Sale.
I like it. Why not win now? If you can. They need pitching. They gave up really good prospects, according to all the baseball experts. We have seen what sometimes those prospects become. But, you know, usually those guys are pretty close to right. But I like Chris Sale. He's dominant. He's a strikeout guy. How does he fit in the clubhouse? I think that's a question, but we'll find out.
Without David Ortiz in it. Look, if it comes out one side or the other, when you're trading the future for the present and how you balance that, what
well,
side
they'll
do you
always
come
have
out?
the money to go make the present the present. I mean, they'll always be able to do this.
Well, a year ago, they went just spending the money and got David Price, and that was a disaster for them. They gave a fortune to a guy who became a pretty average pitcher and let them down at big moments. So there's no guarantees, and in this case, the money isn't the big issue. Sale's not making that much compared to what he could. It's giving up guys. How does it work out? They better hope it works out better than Price did.
And I would worry about his vision, too. Word is he went to get on the plane in Boston and ended up in Birmingham. He
Really?
couldn't see the gate. He can't see. You just traded him.
That's the greatest rumor that can get started. You want to get in the box against that guy? Throwing 98?
Well, I don't want him to hit me because he can't see.
Without even getting
Exactly. So that's probably why you're not going to dig in.
Pat, like it or not, Bryce Petty is the future New York Jet quarterback.
He should have been a future New York Jet quarterback 5 weeks ago. What are you doing playing Ryan Fitzpatrick with nothing else left? And by the way, hey, way to give the kid a vote of confidence by putting him in halfway through the game at a primetime game where you're already getting blown out. The Jets could not have handled this quarterback situation worse. They drafted guys mid-round for years, so now you got what? Bryce Petty, you got the kid from Penn State. Hackenberg. You got a Geno Smith that's on the way out the door, and a guy you just paid, what, $12-something million for that won you a game in Buffalo? Way to go. How did you do it worse than Buffalo did?
Todd Bowles is going to get fired.
Deserves to.
He's going to get fired.
All right, Mike, like it or not, Matt Rule leaves Temple for, and who would take the Baylor job?
I love it for Baylor, and I think Matt Rule, I'm surprised he went there. He was supposedly offered the Oregon job and decided not to go there. I'm surprised at Baylor. I thought they would go with another dirtball head coach, kind of that route. They went with a good guy who has built a program, highly respected. Everybody thought he was going to be the next Penn State guy, and that job's not going to open up right now. I'm surprised at Baylor. I think it'll end up being a good thing. I think he'll clean up the program.
Is that possible?
Well, if you got the right guy in charge, it's possible. You do it the right way, it's possible. It's been a mess. Typically, they would have gone the other way, and they did not on this case.
Okay, I'm still trying to figure out the Birmingham thing. You really...
See, they both start with B, and the Gates would be
That's why he's a professional.
Okay.
Birmingham.
This portion of the Rochester Press Box here from the Genesee Brew House brought to you by Amtrak Trains. Enjoy the journey. Unfinished Business is next. The Press Box Stat of the Week brought to you by Fiondoc and Fiondoc. Remember, if you've made the wrong choice, it's time to make the right choice. Fiondoc and Fiondoc, New York's DWI leader for over 35 years. Visit nydwi.com. Celebrate the holidays with delicious Dunkin' coffee. Stop by Dunkin' Donuts for 2 K-Cup boxes for $15.99 or 3 pounds of packaged coffee for just $19.99. America runs on Dunkin'. Welcome back to the Rochester Press Box here from the Genesee Brew House. Unfinished Business brought to you by Dunkin' Donuts. America runs on Dunkin'. Pat.
So you can talk all you want about why the Bills haven't been good for the last 16 years, going on 17 playoff drought, whatever happens. And I've come to one conclusion that's rock solid. God hates us. It's the only way it can be. Look, the Bills have done everything they could every which way, right? They've gotten quarterbacks every possible way you can. Big free agents, or bring in big names like Drew Bledsoe or Rob Johnson, right? Drafting guys in the first round like J.P. Lossman or E.J. Manuel. Going and finding diamonds in the rough like your Trent Edwards or your Tyrod Taylors. And somehow every single time, it blows up in their face. They had an owner that wanted to be thrifty and go on blue-collar work ethic, and that didn't work. And then here come these new owners that want to throw money around and go out and get the best head coach that was available at the time, and that didn't work. The only explanation is that God hates us. That's all I'm taking from now on, because there's nothing else they can do that they haven't tried before that would work. So I'm going to sit, and I'm going to keep watching this team do what it does until I go to heaven and get to confront God as to why he has done this to all of us for so many years.
Or they're just wrong in thinking Rex was the best coach available.
It's God.
But how are we going to fix this if that's the case? If God really hates us, how are we going to fix this?
Pray, sacrifice, I suggest Catalana.
I'm sure you'll deal with that in your unfinished business.
He said he's going to heaven?
For another time. Kevin, go ahead.
You can visit. Okay, so we had a great matchup this week. Sabres, Oilers, Connor McDavid, Jack Eichel. Two of the very, very best young players in the game. And the Sabres and Dan Bilesma, for some reason, he's feeling the heat. I think the guy above him who does the hiring and drafting is the guy who should feel the heat. But the Sabres came at McDavid. It was a great game plan. They hit him. They ran him. They hit him every chance they could. They were on him. You know what? The NHL, I don't know what the referees were doing, but they got to start protecting Connor McDavid like he's Wayne Gretzky. Let this guy play, or you're going to suffocate the game in a horrible way again. You can still hit him. That's fine. Jake McCabe's hit at center where he just about leveled him and took him into next week. That was great. But all the hooking, the holding, the grabbing, the hits, he got knocked down in front of the net. The puck was at the point. Call the interference. Let the kid play. Let him grow the game.
It's so weird that the generation that complains about, participation trophies is the one that wants the kid that was handed the NHL when he walked in, that
and he runs the NHL.
Handed the captaincy the year after when he's not ready to be an NHL captain. Now you want to let him skate all over the place. No, play like a man, come into Buffalo, and do what you can. You couldn't get the win. Not my fault, buddy. Play a little blue-collar Buffalo hockey.
Well, it's tough when you got to drag 7 guys around the ice and yourself, and you still do it.
Welcome to the show.
We miss those regular hockey takes.
That's it.
Go ahead, Mike.
I voted for the Heisman this week, and I say that only to be pretentious and to make Pat feel small. And my vote this week was, and I can say it now, they asked us not to say anything until the vote comes out because it will. I voted for Lamar Jackson, the quarterback for Louisville, Deshaun Watson from Clemson second, and then I threw Jabril Peppers, the linebacker, do-everything guy for Michigan third to sort of represent defensive players. And here's what I want to tell you about voting for the Heisman. I enjoy doing it. I do take it very seriously. I enjoy the process. I understand what it is. It's for the most, in my opinion, the most effective college player, which is why it, most cases, ends up being a quarterback. Just like in the NFL, they have the ball most of the time. Are there other great players? Absolutely. Dede Westbrook, the wide receiver from Oklahoma, may end up being the best pro out of the whole group by the time we get to that next level. That's not what we're voting for. I don't try to make too much of it, but I still think it is a major award, and I'm proud to go ahead and vote for it. I could have voted for 8 to 10 different players who all had great years. Lamar Jackson was spectacular, struggled a little bit at the end, but he was fun to watch. That's my vote, and I'm sticking with it.
Major award. It's for Gio.
It is, and he's still the only guy on the panel here with his own Wikipedia page.
Look at that. I got that and the Heisman. What do you have?
I had a beef on week sandwich a little while ago.
This portion of the Rochester Press Box Unfinished Business brought to you by Dunkin' Donuts. America runs on Dunkin'. Kevin, nice to have you back.
Hey, it's
we'll
been
do it
great to
again
be
real
here.
soon.
Sure.
Mike, Pat, thank you very
you.
much. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next week with the Rochester Press Box.